Okay, so there's a couple more topics in the second chapter. The first are called relative major and minor scales. So if you haven't guessed, scales are related. And there's two ways that they are related. The first way that they are related is essentially by DNA. So major and minor scales are related by the sixth degree, meaning the sixth degree of a major scale is the relative minor scale. They share DNA, meaning a key signature. So F major has one flat, D minor has one flat. These are relative keys. A major has 3 sharps, F sharp minor has 3 sharps. They are related, they are relative keys. C major, A minor. Really, think about C major, a scale with no sharps and no flats. When I get to the sixth note is A. A minor is the relative minor, okay? There's also something called parallel keys. And parallel keys share the key center or the name. So G major, G minor. But G major has 1 sharp and G minor has 2 flats. So they are very different in terms of their DNA, but they share like the same last name essentially. So let's talk about little tricks, though I think the best trick is just knowing your key signatures. Ha ha ha. Little tricks for parallels. If you're gonna go from a minor to a major, add 3 sharps. So think about it this way. A minor has nothing, A major has 3 sharps. F minor has F flat, 4 flats. If you take away 3 of those, if you negate them with the sharps, F major has 1 flat. For relatives, when going from minor to major, again, these are all tricks from going from minor to major, you go up 1.5 steps and 2 letter names. Again, so A minor, I'm going to go up a whole step, B, a half step, C, so C major. That's how they're related. Personally, I think it's just good to know your key signatures. I'm going to still say that. So let's talk about the names of scale degrees, okay? Because I've been sort of generally talking about it, but a scale degree is the number of each note in a scale. So C would be 1, D would be 2, E would be 3, and so on and so forth. But these all have a name and therefore a function in harmony, which we will get to. So the first note is called the tonic. We'll talk a lot about the tonic, and it's the tonal center. Scale degree 2 is called the supertonic, and usually I'll do a big jump. I'll do that in class for you. And it's just 1 step above tonic. So scale degree 2 is supertonic. 3 is the median, and it's midway between tonic and dominant. We haven't quite gotten to dominant yet. 4 is subdominant. It's the lower dominant or 1 step below dominant. 5 is dominant. And essentially all of music theory is just a discussion of how any composer gets from the tonic to the dominant and back to tonic. So really this entire course is just 1, 5, 1. Great, let's take the AP. No. Scale degree 6 is the submedian or lower median. And 7 is pretty groovy. It has 2 terms, okay? Leading tone, meaning a strong affinity to tonic. It leads to tonic. Now, the other name for scale degree 7 is subtonic, and it's used only when we're designating the 7th degree of a natural minor scale. It's that whole step below tonic, okay? These you will have to memorize. You just have to know them. Make yourself flashcards. Write them a whole bunch of times. If you memorize 1 and 5, you can pretty much get the rest of them. I'll tell you that most people struggle to remember median versus submedian. Median, 3, middle, like the middle of tonic and dominant. And then 6 would be submedian. Trying to give you a few ideas. Okay. The next, lesser used, but still totally cool scales. The first is a pentatonic scale. Penta meaning 5. There's only 5 notes, okay? And so if you just think about the black keys, it's a whole step, a step and a half, and another whole step. Okay, pentatonic. Now, These are non-diatonic scales, and there's no identifiable tonic. And I'm going to ask you why, and we'll talk about it after we talk about all 4 of these scales. So the first one, which a lot of you probably know because we do it definitely in band and orchestra. I don't know if Mrs. Nooner covers it in chorus, but it's a chromatic scale, and it's just all half steps. And I could just keep going, okay? The next one is called a whole tone scale, and this is all whole steps. There's a blues scale, and this is a major scale, but you're going to flat the 3rd and flat the 7th. And then there's an octatonic scale. So it has 8 notes instead of just 7. It's also known as a diminished scale. When we talk about triads, maybe you'll remember this. It's because all of the triads are diminished, and the formula is whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half, and it sounds like this. It's pretty funky. So no identifiable tonic. To have an identifiable tonic, you need that leading tone. And in all of these, you have no identifiable tonic. In a chromatic scale, everything is a half step. So how do you know where the leading tone is? You don't. In a whole tone scale, there is no half step. In a blues scale, again, you don't have that half step leading into the tonic because the 7th is flat. And in an octatonic scale, you just have the same pattern repeating whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half. They still are very cool scales though. Okay, that's the end of this.